Okay. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'd like to welcome you to County Court Law Number 2. My name is Judge Terrence Holmes. I'm presiding judge here in County Court Law Number 2. You have been asked to come to court today to serve as a juror in a criminal case. You will be examined for inclusion on this jury hearing this criminal case. Our courtroom hours normally vary. They're normally from 9 to 5 p.m. However, in this court, we usually have large dockets. We have our dockets in the morning between 9 and 12. Sometimes they go past 12, 1, sometimes 1:30. So our jury trials, we hold the jury trials in the afternoon starting at 1:30. And so whether you are selected as a juror today or not, you're performing a significant service which only free people can perform. If you're selected, this case will be tried expeditiously, consistent with justice, which requires a careful and correct trial. If selected to serve as a juror in this case, unless instructed otherwise, you will be permitted to separate yourself for recess, for meals, and at night. At this time, I must perform an administrative duty. I have to administer the first of 2 oaths. So at this time, I need each and every one of you raise your right hand. And once I finish administering the first oath, please say, I do. Do you and each of you do solemnly swear or affirm that you will make true answers to such questions as may be asked of you by the court under its direction, touching your service qualifications as a juror, so help you God? Please say I do. Okay, you may put your hands down. The law provides that each of you must possess certain qualifications before you may be considered as a juror in this case. Also, there are certain excuses and exemptions some of you may wish to claim. First, I would like to determine if all of you possess the qualifications for service on a criminal jury. It is very important that you answer these questions truthfully. If you do not, and the lawyers or I discover this fact after you have been seated as a juror, the case could be retried. You can be held in contempt of court and placed in jail for up to 180 days, which is 6 months, and be given a fine up to $500. Now, I will ask a series of questions. I do not want you to answer those questions out loud. Just please answer the questions to yourself. And once I finish asking the last question, I will then ask you, is anyone disqualified under the law? And if you think that you may be disqualified under the law based on your answers to one or more of the questions, then I will ask that you will come up before the bench, and this is the bench, so that we can discuss the matter more privately. Now, when I use the term more privately, what I'm talking about, first of all, we are airing on YouTube, so I will turn the YouTube off. I will also turn off this microphone, and then I have a noise sound device that sounds like this. And we will turn on the device so that we can discuss the matter more privately. So again, I'm going to ask you a series of questions. I do not want you to answer the questions out aloud. Just answer the question to yourself. And once I finish asking the last question, I will then ask, is anyone disqualified under the law? If you think that you may be disqualified under the law, I would ask that you would raise your right hand so that we can identify you, and then we'll ask that you will come up one at a time. Okay. First question. Except for failure to register Are you a qualified voter in Jefferson County and the state of Texas under the Constitution and laws of the state of Texas? Have you ever been convicted of theft or any felony? Are you under indictment or legal accusation or on deferred adjudication for theft or any felony? Now, I usually pause before I ask this next question. It's because I need to inform you that I'm required to ask this question by law, and I'm not trying to pry into your personal affairs. And the next question is as follows. Are you presently insane, or have you been declared insane by any mental health or judicial official? Are you 18 years of age or older? Are you a citizen of the United States? Are you a resident of Texas and a resident of Jefferson County? Are you of sound mind and good moral character? Are you able to read and write the English language? And this is the last question. Have you served as a petty juror for 6 days in the preceding 3 months in a county court, or 6 days in the preceding 6 months in a district court? Is there anyone disqualified under the law? Let the record reflect that no one raised their hand. Now I will determine if anyone who is otherwise qualified to be a juror wishes to claim one of the following exemptions. You may claim any of the following exemptions if you choose to, but you are not required to claim them. If one of these applies to you, but you still desire to be considered as a juror, just remain seated. Now, I will ask these questions in the same manner that I asked the previous questions. That is, I will ask a series of questions. I do not want you to answer out aloud. Just please answer to yourself. And once I finish asking the last question, I would then ask if anyone would like to claim an exemption. First question. Are you over 75 years of age? Do you have legal custody of a child or children under the age of 12 years, and jury service was necessitate leaving that child or children without adequate supervision? Are you a student in a public or private secondary school? Are you enrolled and in actual attendance at an institution of higher education? Are you an officer or employee of the Senate, the House of Representatives, or any department, commission, board, office, or other agency in the legislative branch of state government? Have you served as a petty juror in this county during the past 3 years? Are you the primary caretaker of a person who is an invalid, unable to care for himself or herself? And this is the last question. Are you a member of the United States military forces serving on active duty and deployed to a location away from your home station and out of Jefferson County? Is there anyone on the panel who would like to claim an exemption? Let the record reflect that no one on the panel raised their hand. Now I will move to excuses. Now, with the excuses, I'm not going to ask any questions. I will make 3 statements. And if any one of these statements apply to you and you would like to claim an excuse based on any one of these statements, then when I ask, is there anyone who would like to claim an excuse? You would just please raise your right hand, and then we will ask that you will come up to the bench so that we can discuss the matter more privately. First statement. A juror may be excused for observance of a religious holiday upon completing an affidavit as required by the Texas Code of Criminal Procedure, Article 29.012C. A juror may be excused for economic reasons without, well, a juror may not be excused for economic reasons without the consent of both parties. That is, without the consent of the state and without the consent of the defense. And this is the final statement. A juror who, without prompting, articulates an inability to listen to testimony and be fair and impartial may be excused. Is there anyone on the panel who would like to exercise an excuse? Let the record reflect that no one on the panel has exercised an excuse, no one has exercised or claimed an exemption, and all members of the panel is qualified. Jefferson County Court of Law is back in session. The court is in session in cause number 23 CCCR 2673. Case of Styles of State of Texas versus Larry Jean Dupuy. Let the record reflect that Mr. Dupuy is present in court with his attorney Ryan Gertz. Let the record reflect that the state is present with Criminal District Attorney Farrah Nixon, and the state is also present with Attorney Fred Burnham. Good afternoon. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, the court reporter in our case is Mr. Sebastian Aguilar. He's sitting to my left. He will be taking down everything that's being said. So speak up when you are answering or asking questions. The bailiff in the case is Miss Brenda Mosby. You met her earlier. The defendant in this case stands charged by information with the offense of driving while intoxicated. The state and the defendant, through their attorneys, have the right to direct questions to each of you concerning your qualifications, background, experiences, and attitudes. In questioning you, they are not meddling into your personal affairs, but are trying to select fair and impartial jurors to hear and decide this particular case. At this time, or if at any time you would prefer not to answer certain questions in the presence of the panel, just say so. And I will ask that you will come up to the bench so that we may discuss this matter more privately. State, are you ready?
Yes, Your Honor, we're ready.
Defense, Are you ready?
We're ready to shake.
So at this time, I'll give each side, is 30 minutes enough for each side?
Yes, sir. It's good for the state.
Okay. And defense, is that enough time?
Yeah, that's.
Okay. So, Mr. Vernon, who's doing what you'll do the part? Okay, Mr. Vernon, the panel is yours,
Thank you.
and I'll be keeping time.
Don, could you give me a 10-minute warm up? Thank you.
Okay.
Good afternoon, everyone. I didn't hear anything from this side. How are you guys doing? All right today? All right, good. I promise you this will be painless. I'm looking forward to doing it. Hold on. As you previously heard, my name is Fred Vernon, and I'm here with my colleague, Mr. Nixon, and we represent the state and the community of Jefferson County. So again, on behalf of myself, my colleague, Mr. Nixon, I'd like to say welcome to voir dire and welcome to County Court at Law number 2. So what is voir dire? It's a bit like a first date. I'm gonna ask you a lot of questions and get to know you. So if you can't leave, you're under oath, and nobody gets a second date. But seriously, voir dire is a French word that means to speak the truth, to speak the truth. And so today, I'm going to share with you truth about myself, about the process, and in exchange, I hope that you will speak the truth about yourself to me so that we can get to know each other and successfully facilitate this process as required by the Constitution. So relax, feel free to raise your hand if you have any questions at any time. And please feel free to interrupt me. And my name is Fred. And is it okay with everyone if I call you by your first name? Perfect. Thank you. Okay. So how does voir dire work? Voir dire is another name for voir dire is jury deselection. So we don't actually say, oh, I want that person, be strong, I want my team. Doesn't work like that. So what we do instead is we release individuals. You'll hear some folks call it a strike, but I prefer to use the term release. Okay? Release you back to your family and friends and everything we're doing before this process disrupted your life. So a release. So what happens next? So each side gets 3 releases. Okay? The defense, state, 3 releases, and then what happens? The top 6 that remain will be selected, and then we'll go and sit in the panel, and then we'll decide guilt or innocence. But we'll have 1 extra person, we'll be the 7th person, that will be an alternative just in case any one of the 6 has to leave for any reason. So I call it the Magnificent 7. So we're looking for a magnificent 7. Okay? But why do we need voir dire? Why do we need 6 people? Why can't it just be 1 person to decide everything? Why can't we have the judge decide everything? Why can't I decide it? Why can't Mr. Gertz decide everything? Well, that's because the founders of this country lived under the authority of an oppressive king, and they decided that they freaking hate it. They hate it. So inside the Constitution, they put a clause that said, hey, someone can only be found guilty and be in jeopardy of their life, liberty, and limb if a representative panel of community members comes together and decides, after hearing the facts, decides that that person is guilty or innocent. So today in this country, we have where justice can only be decided or found by a group of community members that come together that form a team. A team is only a unanimous jury to find defendant guilty. Only a unanimous team. So you all are the check and balance in the system. Without you, we do not have a justice system. Without people that are willing to come here and follow the law, important that you follow the law, whether you agree with it or not, follow the law. That's the fabric of our justice system. If you don't have that, you don't have a justice system. So with that being said, who here has played sports? College, high school, anytime? Yes, sir. Let's see here. Landon, sir. You played.
I played soccer growing up, up through high school.
Okay. How do you feel about working in a team dynamic?
I enjoy it a lot.
Awesome. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think why I like it, you learn a lot of communication skills,
Mhm.
team bonding, you know, all that kind of stuff.
Okay. Team bonding, communication, super important. Anyone else? I saw some hands over here. Yes, sir.
Baseball, soccer, basketball, football.
Okay. All right. Which one's your favorite?
Early on it was baseball, but probably in high school it was soccer.
Soccer. All right. Taylor, right?
So
All right. So soccer. Let me ask you this. Let's say you got a superstar on your soccer team. It's probably you. Let's say you're a superstar on that soccer team and you're going against a really good team. And you're just a superstar, but everybody else around you just can't get it together. Is it possible for you alone to score enough goals or defend enough goals to win the game?
No.
It's not possible. So being on the jury, same way. We can't get to justice unless everyone decides working together. Okay? We can't get it unless everyone is working together. Do we have anybody else who's played on the team? Yes, ma'am?
I play pickleball.
Pickleball? Okay, pickleball, okay, so it's like a more of a solo sport, right? All right. And but let me ask you this, if you're on one side and you hit the pickleball to the other side, no one's over there, can that ball come back to you?
No.
Cannot. So all the dynamics in our society, all sports, most of them need a team to take place. Okay? Let me ask someone who hasn't responded, who in here works in a career, a job, where you have to work in a team to accomplish a goal? You have to get whatever it is you have to get done, where you only work with one particular portion of the project and someone else works to bring it there. Yes, ma'am?
In title companies, so it takes different departments to do it.
Okay, tell us more about that.
Can't get to the closing side of it, so you can't get anything done unless the exam side's done what their job is.
Okay, so if you have one side, gets their side done, that's also, if they don't do their job, you can't get to the end goal.
Correct.
Yes, ma'am. Sir?
I work in emergency response walkout, so it's always got some people that prepare and some people that do the actual work, so.
So what does it mean to, some people that prepare and some do the active work? What's the difference in how does it work?
The main difference is that we come up with the plans and all the actual, how to actually get them accomplished.
Mhm.
And of course, you got the team that's got to complete it.
Okay, great, very good. So, and if you guys, getting your goal to save a lot, I presume? Okay, great, very important. So I want to ask one person that hasn't spoken yet, will tell me this. How, knowing what you know now, how is being part of a jury like being a part of a team? Yes, sir.
I worked for the Federal Bureau of Prisons for 22 years. The more you communicate, the better off you are in working as a team. Communication flows, it flows well, then all members of the team can work together collaboratively to accomplish a mission or a goal.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Your goal here today in the jury, thank you, and your name is James? Jim. Thank you so much, Jim. Yes, sir.
Don't try my last name.
I saw that out. But that's all right. We'll call it Jim is good. Jim is good. But being a jury, being part of a jury is the same team dynamic, whether it's a sport or in a career. And so if you all are gonna, 6 of you all, my magnificent 7, will come to compose the jury, if you guys are the team, then what's my role? So my role is much like it's like a coach, okay? And I'm here to provide you with evidence and the substantive things that you need to hit the goal. Because if I don't provide you with sufficient evidence and the goal is getting justice, if I don't provide you with that, it's innocent because there's no way I can eat my burden. I can carry my burden if I'm not providing you with evidence. So my job is to come in here when we go to trial and present you with the evidence so that you can feel confident and good about your decision in finding justice. That's my job. You can think of me sort of like a coach or whatnot. So my coaching style is firm but fair. So I'm firm but fair. I will come in there. I'll tell the truth. Sometimes I'll be stern when I have to. Sometimes I'm a little nice when it's mirrored. Okay, and I learned that from my parents. And my parents taught me: you work hard, don't take shortcuts, and you keep your word. And then I'm gonna tell you all right now, I swear, I will not keep the word up there on this stand that I don't personally, I don't feel the truth. I promise you. The second thing that I promise you is that if someone gets up there on that stand and they attempt to shade the truth, I promise you, I will do my best to expose them. I will do my best to expose them, and I promise you that. And by the time this is done, I'm very confident that you have everything that you need to work together as a team and find justice. So what's the judge's role? Judge is sort of like a referee. He's gonna call the balls and the strikes in accordance with the law. And he'll use the rules. You'll see it sometimes we'll have sidebars, we'll approach, you see the attorney approach. Sometimes you guys have to step out a little bit. That's only because we don't want you guys to hear anything that will bias or prejudice, you know, one way or the other, okay? So at this time, I wanna ask a question. I'm gonna make a statement, then I'm gonna call names, and then you just blurt out the first thing. So statement is gonna be, rules are, and then you fill in the blank. Rules are, and just fill in the blank with as many words, you think. So, is it Elvira? Elvira? Miss Elvira, rules are,
Meant to be followed.
okay. Thank you. Joshua, rules are, okay, and Miss Kathy, rules are, let's see here, yeah, Mr. Charles, rules are, okay. And, Mr. Chris, rules are. Anyone here thinks, tell me how you feel, I want to know the law. What happens if there's a rule that you don't like? What do you do with it? How do you choose a rule that you don't like? Why? Well, does anybody here feel differently from Miss Patricia? Yes, sir?
I mean, there's plenty of rules I don't follow, but I make a value decision. If I'm gonna pay the price and I follow the rule, I will decide not to break it.
Fair enough. Thank you. And Mr. Brian? Thank you. All right, I'm gonna read a statement, and then if you would just let me know if you agree or disagree with that statement. Statement, if a person breaks the rules and nothing is done about it, a person is more likely to break the rules again. So if a person breaks the rules, nothing is done about it, a person is more likely to break the rules again. Who agrees with that statement? Okay, no disagreement? Okay. Okay, I'm gonna reverse this now. So if a person breaks the rules and something is done about it, a defendant or a person is less likely to break the rules. So if we enforce the rules, a person is less likely to break the rules again. Do you agree or disagree? If you agree, raise your hand. Anybody disagree with that? Okay, yes, sir. Chris?
I mean, I guess it would just depend on the, quote unquote punishment that they received. If it was, for lack of a better word, a slap on the wrist, then I think that was likely involved in that individual saying, well, you know what, I did it, and I really didn't get in too big of a trouble, so why not? Let me go, you know, drive drunk again. Let me, you know, I didn't kill nobody, but whatever, let me go get drunk again, or let me use drugs again, or let me rob this person, you know? I only got probation. Well, you know, I can do it. Just a piece of paper. Why not?
Yes, sir.
That's kind of what I'm getting at.
Okay, so like, someone breaks the rules and someone does something about it, it's enforced, but it's only enforced slightly, it'll slap on the wrist. People may repeat that because they're emboldened.
Again, I just kind of feel as though if the punishment fit the crime, you know, they don't get a quote slap on the wrist, then I think that the first statement you made is accurate, where an individual breaks the rule or breaks the law, gets dealt with appropriately, then it's more likely for them not to recidivate.
Yes, sir.
But I think the flip is, I think the flip side of that, again, it just depends on what type of punishment they got.
I agree. Very good. And Mr. Bryan?
Yes.
Yes, sir. You want to weigh in?
Sure. I mean, some people aren't consciously deciding to make the break rules.
Mhm.
Some people don't have the capacity to see all the way to the end of the chain of events, and the decision they made is resulted in a rule breaking. They didn't set out to break the rule.
So let's talk about that. So let's say someone didn't set out to break a rule, but they broke that rule anyway. Do you feel that they should be punished, or do you feel that, oh, we'll let them slide this time?
No, they should be punished.
Why?
They broke the rule.
Is there a situation where a person that breaks the rules shouldn't be punished? That's open to anybody. There's a situation where someone breaks the rules where you feel like, that person shouldn't be punished. Yes, sir. Mr. Taylor.
If you're avoiding a bigger harm, perhaps like breaking the rule in order to avoid a potentially bigger harm, they could possibly be excused.
Okay. Okay, thank you. Okay. Let me ask, we have in this country, we have what's called the DWI laws, driving while intoxicated laws. And I want to know from Mr. Calvert.
Yes.
What happens, why do we have DWI laws in this country? Why do you think?
Over time, the state seeing the need for them.
Mm-hmm. Okay, and what do you think those laws are designed to protect?
Drivers on the road.
Mm-hmm. And, Ms. Michelle? What do you think, driving while intoxicated DWI laws are meant to protect? Or prevent?
I think they're there to protect any innocent people that are around that could be in the area.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay. And Ms. Dorothy?
Yes.
Why do you think we have DWI laws? What are they trying, what do they want to protect with those DWI laws?
That's to keep you from driving drunk, and that's to protect people that are around you. That's for safety.
Mhm.
You can't just think that you can just drive and drink all the liquor you want to drink and get on the road. You just can't do it. You have to be accountable for what you do.
Well said. Yes, ma'am, it's, the fire bureau?
The reason they have DWI laws is because you're not in the right mind. You are unstable. You may think you're sober, but you are unstable and confused.
Mhm.
So
Yes, ma'am.
I've been having a license, a CDL license for 40 years.
Hey,
So
yeah, I like
you
that.
can't, that's just, that makes y'all balance.
Yes,
That's
ma'am.
even,
Now, well, let's follow up on it. It's like, you can tell me if you disagree with this, but even a little bit like a shot,
a buzz.
a buzz, does that impair, if y'all drive big 18-wheelers with all those gears, and y'all do some great work out there, those 48 and 53-foot trailers, especially my heart, but that, y'all do some serious work out there, so is it, can you take a shot of alcohol and still function properly to do that job?
No, sir.
Is it possible for somebody to do it one time and get away with doing it?
No, sir.
Okay.
Because the slightest, off balance, you may think you're this far away from a vehicle. I mean, you may think you're this far away from a vehicle, but you're actually this far away from a vehicle. So it messes with the mind, the sight, the equilibrium, everything.
Mm.
No alcohol.
Man, amen. All right, thank you. So we're gonna continue to go on this line of discussion here. How many people think that if I take one drink, I can get in my vehicle and I can drive and I still make decisions the same way, still react the same way. If I have one shot of alcohol. Is there anybody that thinks, even though you may not be above the limitation, yes, ma'am? Kathy? Yes,
I
ma'am?
think I can go out and have a margarita with my family and my friends or whatever and drive home. I don't think I can do 5 and drive home, but
Yes, ma'am.
I believe I can drink a beer or margarita and drive home. Of
Okay.
course, I'm not driving an 18-wheeler now, so that's a big difference.
Yeah.
True.
You know, I've got a little Nissan I drive. I think that's easier to handle, but if I had to drive an 18-wheeler home, I wouldn't. That's fine.
Yes, ma'am. And is there anyone else who feels, like Miss Kathy? I mean, we probably got a lot of us in here, okay, all right, okay,
You have 10 more minutes.
all right. All right, so we're gonna move forward here. Now, what are the specific rules in this case? What are the specific rules in this case? This is a DWI case, okay? So how does the state define operate, okay? For purposes of the law, I'm gonna present to you as the coach, I'm gonna present to you facts that show, hey, the defendant operated motor vehicle while intoxicated, okay? So operated. Would it surprise any of you to know that the law does not define the term operated? It does not define the term operated, okay? So you're allowed to use the plain common meaning of the term, okay? What is it? And so, to one person tell me what they think operate means, to operate a vehicle means, Miss, Bridget.
Well, I think that it means that you are in control behind the wheel. You're able to drive if you choose to. You could be on the road, you might be in a parking lot, you might be in your own driveway. But I would think that any of those, once you start the car, move the vehicle, you're operating.
Okay, okay. Anyone who disagrees with that? Okay, so the next term here is a motor vehicle. The law does define motor vehicle, it defines it as means, it means a device by which a person may be transported on a highway, okay? So I'm gonna call out a few things, y'all tell me if this qualifies, if you think personally this qualifies as a motor vehicle. Jet ski. Nope, is there a lot of no's? Yes, no's? Yes, okay. Yes, okay, okay. Golf cart. Golf cart.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. See, motorcycle,
Yes.
okay. Electric scooter. Those ones that the new ones the kids are riding around, yes, sir.
Me?
Electric scooter, yes, sir.
Sure, yeah, anything, yeah,
Anything there, what?
it's, operable.
Okay. Fair enough, thank you. All right, and then, intoxicated. What does that mean? So, under law, it means if you have a blood alcohol concentration above 0.08, okay? And then, or otherwise, not having use of your mental, physical faculty. So you guys have seen, those field sobriety tests on YouTube and all that stuff. You've seen, people, out at the bar, they're drinking, they get all go buzzed, go tipsy, or driving an 18-wheeler, you see some accidents sometimes, okay?
Yes, sir.
So that's what it means to be intoxicated. So we're gonna move on to beyond a reasonable doubt, and then I'm gonna close here. So the law does not define beyond reasonable doubt. Go figure. They give us laws, they don't define them. But I will describe to you, I can't tell you what it means, but I can tell you what it looks like, and I can tell you what it feels like, okay? So what does it look like? Imagine a staircase, okay? A staircase. Down here is reasonable suspicion, okay? That's what the police need to pull your car over, because they think you changed the lane or you swerved or whatnot, and they would pull your car over with just a mere reasonable suspicion. Next is probable cause. Probable cause is what the police officers need to arrest you, okay? Then you move up to the next level, which puts ponderance of the evidence. That's the standards that they use in civil courts, okay, to find liability. Then beyond that is clear and convincing evidence, which is what they need to terminate parental rights. And then the next level above that, where we're at in this court today, is beyond a reasonable doubt, okay? That's what it looks like, the staircase, okay? And we're at the top, but we're not at the very top because there can still be some doubt, but just as long as it's beyond a reasonable doubt. And then lastly, what does it feel like? You make decisions based on beyond a reasonable doubt every time, every day. It's like driving through a four-way intersection. You're driving through, okay, we're driving through a green light, we see a four-way We got a four-way intersection here, okay? Our light's green, so we drive through. The lights here this way on the intersection are red, but we can't see those lights, can we? No, but we're able to infer that they're red because those cars aren't moving, other cars beside you are moving in that direction, right? So we're able to draw an inference. The law allows you to convict based on inference if the evidence is sufficient beyond a reasonable doubt, okay? So beyond a reasonable doubt feels like driving through a green light. While it's green, you think the other cars' lanes are red, but you can't see them, but you feel confident enough in your gut to go and drive through in confidence. That's beyond a reasonable doubt. And I'm going to present to you direct evidence, circumstantial evidence, and I'm going to meet my burden to you here over the next couple of days. And I promise you that you will feel comfortable driving through the green light, find defendant guilty of driving while intoxicated. Thank you.
Okay. Mr. Gertz, you need some time to set up.
Thank you. Well, good afternoon. Notice you left my role off the team. Yes, I'm both coaching the farm club down here, but I'll tell you what my role is. My role every day as I come into courtrooms in Jefferson County and East Texas, and I demand respect and dignity for citizens of this community. And what that means is I'm going to demand the state of Texas not be the coach, not be your friend. They need to follow the law. And they have accused this citizen of a very serious crime. And they're coming to you with a promise in their hand. The promise is what we call an information. It's kind of like an indictment in a felony case. But an information is basically just a criminal lawsuit. And they're saying, I promise to you that I can prove each and every element of this case beyond a reasonable doubt. Okay? So when they get up tomorrow and they read that information, Mr. Dupuy's going to tell you he's not guilty. And what that means to you is y'all aren't on the same team anymore. You're on the team that looks critically at what this person is telling you, and the team of people that they're going to put on the stand. Y'all okay with that? Do you feel, because Mr. Vernon can be very convincing, he's a friend of mine, we've been friends for a long time, but you gotta kind of get out of that team mindset now. Because I've got some other questions for you that I want to know about. First question is this: who knows what the word idiot means?
You said idiot.
Yes, ma'am. Do you know what the word idiot means?
Silly.
Silly. Okay. What else? Stupid. Okay.
We should, have you ever heard of that?
Yeah. The sugar.
We should.
Yeah. Yeah. I got you. I'm going to tell you the origin of the word. Okay. The origin of the word is actually Greek, and it means, what does it mean, Chris?
I believe if memory serves me correct, that means non-participant.
Non-participant. In ancient Greece, people that didn't show up to the city council, which was everybody, people that didn't show up and participate in democracy were idiots. That's what they called them. So first things first, I want to thank you all for not being idiots. Okay? Because you're showing up, and by coming here and participating in this process, you're showing us that you're not an idiot. But I also want to tell you a little bit about what Mr. Vernon mentioned, and that's this. He said that jury selection is actually a deselection process. Okay? And he's right. But what he didn't tell you is the nasty little secret. And that is that if you're under the impression, you sit here quietly, don't say anything, nobody will notice me, and I'll get to go home. It's not what happens. The people who sit here quietly and don't say anything, or in a minute, I'm going to be asking y'all one big question. I'll tell you what it is in just a minute, but I'm going to be asking each of you one big question. If you give me a boilerplate answer, judge doesn't care what seat you sit in. You can sit anywhere you want up here, but you're going to be spending the week with us. All right? The reason that's important is we're trying to find people that are a good fit for this case. You may be a great fit for a civil case across the hall, or a family court case, or a case in drug court with Mr. Cadena. But
But maybe a DWI for some life experience reason or some personal opinion reason is not the fit for you. And that's what we just want to uncover. We want to understand. Y'all with me? And so far, all you've done in here is take an oath to tell the truth. You ever heard somebody say there's no such thing as stupid questions? Don't know, you know that? Okay. Or there's no such thing as maybe as stupid answers either. But I would suggest to you the only thing that we want to know in here is just what you really feel about stuff. We don't really care what the answer is. We just want to know what you really feel about stuff. So in a minute, I'm going to come to each of you one at a time, and I'm going to ask you what I call one big question. And that question is this: based on some things I'm going to tell you in a minute, should I want you on my jury? Okay? If you were here defending this citizen, Mr. Dupuy, should I want you on my jury? Or is there some reason you may not be a good fit? You with me? Okay, let's talk about key concepts in criminal justice for a minute. Mr. Vernon mentioned the burden of proof, but he talked about what's really called the levels of proof. Remember, he gave you that kind of stair-step analogy? What I didn't hear him say is this: in a criminal case, the burden of proof, meaning the responsibility for proving the case, is always on the state. It never shifts over here to my side, and I got to start bringing in witnesses, and I got to start, proving stuff to you, or my client's got to take the stand. That's not how the law works. They're the ones that brought the case. They're the ones that have to prove it. Y'all okay with that? Okay. I like to think of it, if you're on the jury of 6 people over here, like you start off with an empty backpack. Okay. You can imagine a backpack that you have at home, or maybe you used to have, and it starts off empty. And it's the state's responsibility to fill up your backpack with believable, truthful, credible, scientific evidence. And if they neglect to do so to your satisfaction, your individual satisfaction, your oath requires you to vote not guilty. Okay? What that means is your standard of proof, or what you believe beyond a reasonable doubt is, may be different than what you believe beyond a reasonable doubt is. And y'all don't have to be on the same team about that. You just have to be individually satisfied that they've either done it, or if you're not, your oath requires you to vote not guilty. Simple enough. So it's not about being on the same team. It's about being confident that the state has met their proof responsibility to you. Okay? Because at the end of the trial, you have to be 100% free of all reasonable doubt in order to vote guilty. And your doubt could be about any one of the elements that Mr. Vernon talked about. It could be about whether somebody operated, whether the thing they operated was a motor vehicle, whether or not they were in a public place, whether or not they were intoxicated. Those are all things you could have doubts about, because maybe the state didn't prove it to you. Or maybe you're not comfortable with the type of proof they brought you. Okay? So, who has heard the term or the phrase or seen the sign, drink, drive, go to jail? All seen that? Okay. If you are under the impression, or your personal feeling is, if you have any alcohol, and I don't mean to drive an 18-wheeler or fly an airplane, right? I'm talking about just driving a regular old car. Okay. But if your theory is drink, drive, go to jail, not be intoxicated under the legal definition of intoxication, drive in a public place with a motor vehicle, then that's fine. That's great that that's your opinion. Just want to know about it. Okay? The other thing I want to know about is this: if you have some kind of experience in your life, whether it's you or a friend or a family member who has been impacted by an intoxication-related accident, okay, I want to know about that. So if you've got that in your life and it might impact your decision-making in a case like this at all, I want to know about that. And then the other thing I want to ask you is, and maybe I can just do this right now. I'm just going to start right here. I'm going to go down the row, and I've got four options for you here. Okay, so you can describe yourself as a frequent drinker, a rare or social drinker, a non-drinker, or a former drinker. You with me about the 4 categories? Yeah. Anybody got questions about which one's which? Okay. When I say social drinker, like Yeah, when I go to a wedding, I might have a glass of champagne. When I say frequent drinker, like I'm drinking at least once a week or more. That's kind of the distinction I would draw, okay? So, I wanna just kind of go down the first, start with you. Rare, okay? Social, okay?
No.
Non-drinker, okay?
Right.
Rare.
Rare, you said? Rare, okay?
Frequent.
Okay.
That's good.
Social,
Rare.
rare,
Social.
frequent, okay?
I'm gonna say non, but there's no preference.
Stuff's about to change. Happy birthday. Can I let you in on a secret? Told us that, and he might have let you out of here. She's got important things to do tonight, Judge. So, all right, is that gonna change tomorrow? We'll go find out. We go find out, all right. A non-drinker, okay? Okay. Okay. Okay.
Personally,
Facial, okay. Okay,
Frequent.
okay,
Very rare.
okay. Frequent.
Rare.
Okay, good, excellent. All right, and then the last question, that I'm gonna get your opinion on when I get to you individually is this. In a case like this, the punishment range potentially could be up to 1 year in the county jail. Okay, but it could also involve probation. In fact, I think Mr. Cadena would tell you almost every DWI and misdemeanor court ends up with probation. Do you agree with that? All right. That's the norm, not the oddity, if that makes sense. That's different for intoxication manslaughter cases or intoxication assault cases, where just DWIs in misdemeanor court typically end up with probation. But here's the deal. What I want to know is if you cannot consider probation at all, like under any circumstances, I can't consider probation. Yes, sir.
I have a question.
Sure.
Is the client, if in the event that the jury confirms that guilty, are you asking the jury to assess punishment, or are you asking the judge to assess punishment because you have that
We filed an application for probation from the jury.
from the jury? So the jury is going, if in the event there's a finding of guilt, that the jury is going to
Right, that's
what
why.
type of punishment is.
That's why. Yep.
Can I have something else? I'm sorry.
Next person on my jury over here.
No.
We were in trial against each other last week.
This is something that wasn't brought up.
Yes, sir.
And is that we do have a national holiday coming up.
Yes,
And I believe that Friday is a county holiday,
yes.
which means that you guys were talking about working all week. I don't know if individuals might be on vacation or have anything. That question wasn't asked.
I know. I'm gonna be on a plane at noon on Thursday. That's where I'll be, so.
Okay.
Hopefully that covers all of the rest of you, so.
I want to correct something.
Okay.
I don't drive an 18-wheeler.
Oh,
I'm a
okay.
heavy equipment operator.
Okay, but that's why you got your CDL. Okay,
Yes, sir.
fair enough. Okay, good.
Equipment operator.
But Mr. Cadena's question is important. Does anybody, let's go through. Assume with me that we end by Wednesday night. Anybody have a conflict Tuesday or Wednesday that you just can't get out of, that we need to know about? Like a doctor's appointment or a prepaid trip? Anything like that?
This afternoon, right? I've got a doctor's appointment tomorrow morning.
Tomorrow morning, okay. We're gonna start at 1:30 tomorrow afternoon.
Good.
Yes, ma'am. Ms.
Thursday,
Jones?
remember.
Okay, well, I promise you we'll be done by Thursday because I'm gonna be on a plane on Thursday.
Okay.
So
Yeah, okay.
I decided I'm tired of this, having to take a shower every time I come in from the parking lot, so I'm gonna go somewhere cooler this weekend. Okay. Back to punishment. If and only if the jury believes this case beyond a reasonable doubt, we have elected to have the jury assess punishment. And my question is, can all of you consider giving probation in a misdemeanor DWI case? Or is there anybody who says I can't consider? Let me give you an example of what I mean by consider. Who here has ordered off of a menu at a restaurant? I'm just making sure y'all are awake. Don't look at me like I'm crazy. I just been out. Ms. Williams, but have you ever seen something at a restaurant on the menu and you think to yourself, I would never consider ordering? You know what I'm talking about? I mean, like some people, it's escargot, right, snails. For me, it's liver and onions. No, ma'am, I'm not considered it, I'm paying for my drink and I'm leaving, if that's all you got on your menu. And so that's what I mean by that. You're required under the law to consider the full range of punishment from 1 day up to a year, potentially, depending on the facts in the case. And then, and then consider probation. And I just want to know, when I get to you, if you say, I can't consider probation, that's what I want to know, all right? Everybody with me? You don't need to tell me now. All right, so that's the deal. We're gonna start with juror number 1. Just in it. Janice. Janice. Ms. Janice, should I want you on my jury? Tell me why.
I can consider probation.
Okay.
Or jail.
All right. Can you hold the state to their proof responsibility and make them prove the case to you beyond a reasonable doubt? Do you have any hesitation about your ability to vote not guilty if other people are saying they thought the case was proved to you, to them, but you don't think it was? Okay. Okay. Okay, good. Thank you. I appreciate that. Mr. Allen, should I want you on my jury?
Yes,
Tell me why.
just, to be able to base the decision off the evidence in the trial.
Y'all heard the phrase presumption of innocence. Y'all know what I'm talking about that?
Yeah.
And that'd be another thing I need you to commit to doing is presuming innocence, presuming he's innocent.
Sure.
Okay?
And that would be in the evidence.
It'd be, I think the starting point always is that for each element that we're talking about here, right? You have to start off presuming that he wasn't operating a motor vehicle, he wasn't in a public place, and he wasn't intoxicated. And then it require them to prove each of those elements to you beyond a reasonable doubt. You're okay doing that?
Yes.
You kind of hesitated on me.
Yeah, well, I'm older, so thinker.
Okay. All right, fair enough, Mr.
Wait.
That was fun. Mr. Henry,
Yes, I think you should have that.
tell me why.
Well, like we talked about this morning, CP's afternoon, per the US, state of law, like the defendant is, presumed innocent until proven guilty by the, so I would need to see the facts to be proven that. So, but until they prove that, it's.
Okay.
I would hold them to that.
And are you, when you think about, they brought in this information, they filed this document, they're gonna come in and say it's true, Mr. Vernon said, I'm only gonna bring you truthful people. I think you're gonna find that to be a little bit of a stretch maybe in this case, but we'll see where we land. But if they don't prove that to you, if you don't feel confident about it, you're comfortable voting not guilty, despite that. Okay, good. Thanks, sir. Mr. Sylvester, should I want you on the jury?
Yes, you should.
Tell me why.
I mean, because just like I say, it's the difference between, I guess, if you look at it as a whole, it's like something you had to prove the evidence.
Who has to prove the evidence?
It would be the state.
Okay, good. Not gonna require me to prove it.
No.
Okay, I require my client to take the stand to prove something to you. Okay, good. Ms. Owens, should I want you on the jury? Yes, tell me why.
Make good decisions.
All right. Give me more.
Innocent until proven guilty.
Okay. Give me a little more.
I will listen to the facts
Okay.
and make a decision.
And you're okay making a decision that's not part of the team that Mr. Vernon wants you to be on?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, good. Good, Ms. Mallett?
Yes.
Did I pronounce your last name?
Yeah.
Perfect. Should I want you on my jury?
Yeah.
Tell me why.
Because I take jury duty seriously. I think it's an important part of our democracy and critical for our body.
How many times have you been on jury?
Several times.
Okay, criminal cases?
Now, mostly several.
They won't let me on juries at all. I want to be on one so bad. Dean over here thinking the same thing I'm thinking. He wants to be under so bad. Okay, thank you, Ms. Mallett. I appreciate it. Ms. Williams, should I want you on my jury?
Yeah.
Tell me why.
this is all the evidence the state have and then the evidence you have, and they can put your file on the thing, and what, yeah.
Well, what if I don't flip a client on the scene?
Okay, with your question, everybody else that goes on the thing.
Well, I'm certain, I promise you, no one is gonna go unscathed, in terms of the state's witnesses. But here's the deal, I need to make sure that you're not gonna shift the responsibility of proving something to me. The law doesn't allow you to, it's fine if you want to, or I just wanna know about it, right? If your inclination is, because some people say, I gotta hear from both sides, but I can't make a decision until I hear from both sides. And what that tells me is that you're shifting that burden over to me, that responsibility over to me. And it's fine if you do that, but it just means you can't be on the jury. You with me? Okay, so tell me what your answer to that is.
I mean, I won't be able to do, I mean, I won't be able to do.
Okay, you'd be okay following that rule. All right, good deal. Mr. Hardy?
Yes,
Tell me why.
I institute proven guilty.
Give me a little more.
That's all I got.
Tell me this, you heard me say earlier, drink, drive, go to jail, right? You a believer in that?
Not always, but
Okay. What if the stuff the state brings you, you've got real questions about? Are you comfortable saying, I don't believe that, I don't trust that evidence, and voting against the state?
I would have to hear the evidence. Or look on that, I don't know.
Okay, but I guess what I'm saying is if you don't believe it, like if you find it, they didn't follow the rules, or they didn't use good science, or, you know, they just didn't do things the right way. Okay, good, excellent answer. Excellent answer. Mr. Toots, should I want you on my jury?
Sure, why not?
Well, you tell me why.
Well, I'm not gonna shift the burden of proof to your side.
Okay, good, what else?
I'll get to miss work for a few more days. It's on
You're happy worker, right?
I am.
Yeah, I started my career, but I had to, so. Well, I can understand business for that's how I feel. But, feel like you could, listen to all the evidence, listen to what the state has presented, and then make a determination if they prove the case to you beyond a reasonable doubt?
Yes.
No hesitation about that?
Correct.
Good. Mr. Knight, should I want you on my jury?
I wouldn't risk it.
Okay. I was loving your first answer earlier, and then some of your subsequent answers were burning. I thought, well, geez, you know, so tell me why.
I mean, I definitely understand the whole burden of proof on state thing. I'm fine with that. You know, I understand authority's not always right. But I also have this thing with lawyers where I have a hard time hearing what you're telling me, and I tend to think about why are you trying to tell me these things?
Sure. Well, let's dive down on that. Tell me what you mean.
I mean, I understand each side's got an agenda here and the facts are being thrown out, but you know, I feel like you guys are in the business trying to make me feel a certain way. And frankly, I'm a technical person. I just want the facts. I don't want you to tell me how to feel about it.
Huh? I appreciate that. Do you feel like that makes you not a good fit, or does that make you a really good fit potentially?
It does. I'm probably one way or the other.
We'll find out later.
You can be better.
Okay, fair enough, fair enough. I appreciate your candor. Thank you, sir. Ms. Rago, happy birthday again. Should I want you on my jury?
I think I'm gonna say no.
Okay, tell me more.
I think that I have a hard time being advised.
Okay, that is a fair answer. Here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna call you back afterwards and talk to you more in detail about that. That is great. Thank you. Ms. Singh, should I want you on my jury?
I will be a part of the jury, but I was in an accident where someone failed to stop on a four-way stop sign. I completely forgot about it, but since this thing has brought up, I'm still thinking about that thing, so I don't know if I'll be, not biased against the things, or that would probably be my problem.
Okay. Same thing I said to Ms. Rago. We're gonna call you back in a minute and talk with you in some more detail about that. So we can get a little more detail. Tell me how to say it correct. I heard it, they said it on the copy.
Want to know that?
Should I want you on jury as well?
Couldn't really say. I mean, 22 years in the federal bureau of prisons. We have our motto, we follow after justice, and that's what I appreciate is following justice. I know that both sides can lie. I know that both sides can be telling the truth. I've seen a lot of men go down because they were just in the wrong place at the wrong time. I've seen guys get railroaded because some prosecutor wanted to make his name. But then again, I've seen some guys that truly deserve to be behind bars for the rest of their lives. It's kind of a mixed bag, you know. I will, you know, I think I'm fair. I think I'm honest. Also as an Army officer, so yeah, I could be, and I may not be. I don't know.
That's a very thorough answer. I appreciate you. Thanks, sir. Mr. Cadena, should I want you on the jury?
Yeah, listen, all right, so. I know criminal law. I understand that your client is clothed with presumption of innocence. If we had to take a vote right now, whether or not your client is guilty or not guilty, the law dictates that we must enter a finding of not guilty. The reason why, as you well know, is that there's been no evidence presented by the state of Texas. I get that. I also get the fact that the state of Texas bears the burden of proof, and that proof is beyond a reasonable doubt. It's not beyond all possible doubt. It's not a Perry Mason beyond a shadow of a doubt. It is, but at the same time, it's not 100%. These are bedrock foundations within our jurisprudence. I can tell you that I can and will be faithful to my oath if I am deselected, if you will, to sit as a juror and to determine whether or not your client is guilty beyond reasonable doubt. So it would be, I know that my job is one where it may give you pause. I understand that. And as it sits right now, I believe I'm mathematically already eliminated as is, being the 14th person. But we'll see how that shakes out. But, and I'll leave that up to you. But I did want to bring something real quick, and I understand my neighbor here had made some comments. And let me just kind of clear something up. The people that I work with, in his office, we don't make a name for ourselves. We take our job extremely seriously, and we present the case as best as we can. We're not in this to railroad anybody, right? I just want to make sure that what he was talking about is a team earlier. You got a great group of people up there that are public servants, that look at the facts of the case and determine whether or not there's enough probable cause to bring the case. So again, I just felt like I needed to kind of clarify that situation. But I'll leave that up to you if you think I would be a suitable candidate to sit.
Thank you, Chris. Ms. Jones, should I want you on my jury?
Yes, sir.
Tell me why.
I will listen to all the state's evidence, discuss it with my team, and make sure that, we can give them probation.
Okay. Sounds like you already know where you're going with this stuff. That concerns me. Does it, because that's sometimes what people think. They walk in, they hear this person's been charged with driving while intoxicated, they must have done it. Right? That's kind of the normal thought process.
Might be, probation, I have him learn from his mistakes.
But how do you know he made a mistake?
Well, if he had made a mistake,
What if the person that made the mistake was the arresting officer?
yes, sir.
Or what if the person that made the mistake or mistakes was the people who did the blood collection or
Yes, sir.
did the blood testing? I mean, do you think every scientific test always works 100% of the time?
No, sir.
Okay, do you think they always get it right?
No, sir.
When they come in and they say things like, we always get it right, does that make it more believable or less believable?
Yes.
All right. So again, that's the whole point of presuming innocence is you got to start off with your thumb on the scale over here on this side of the scale and say, they got to really prove that they did this right. They followed all the rules and they did everything for them.
You have 6 more minutes.
I'm good, Jim. Thank you.
He could be in.
Well, he is innocent.
Yes, sir, right, the Zoom is, right.
Right, okay, but you're okay doing
Yes, sir.
it? Okay, good. Mr. Ladd, should I want you on my jury?
I would say that you and Mr. Vernon would have to make that decision, based on what I would say. I think that this is a very important part of our lives as Americans. I think it's probably one of the most important as a free society. I think that I can be fair, understanding as an American citizen that everybody deserves that. I believe in the rule of law, but I also believe that the people with the law have to prove they deserve that power. And I do think that the people who develop this system, very intelligent people, and I like to follow that process. And I hope that if I were in any position that I would follow that process the same way.
Good, thank you, sir. Ms. Wolford? Did I say it correctly?
Yes, yes.
Okay, should I want you on my jury?
Yes, I can listen to the state's evidence and I'd be willing to consider probation.
You willing to hold them to their proof responsibility to you?
Yes,
To make you confident they proved each and every element beyond reasonable
I
doubt?
would expect it.
And if they don't do it, you don't have any hesitation about voting not guilty?
Oh,
Okay, good, thank you, ma'am. Ms. Smith, should I want you on my jury?
I think so,
Okay, tell me why.
because I'm very picky about what I hear and whether I believe it or not.
Okay.
Because you're trying to get me to believe you, and they're gonna get me to believe them.
Sure.
That's the process. But I wanna know everything that was involved. I haven't heard much of anything.
Absolutely.
I assume alcohol was involved in a motorized vehicle. That's it.
Okay.
So, but that doesn't tell me that's okay for probation or more. So I'd have to hear everything.
Now, I want to just be real clear with you. I'm not trying to encourage you to believe me at all. It doesn't matter if you believe me. I'm going to be, my job is to look at the evidence that they present and ask hard questions. Did we follow the rules? Did you do these things correctly? Did the officers, for example, involved in a case like this are trained to do stuff a certain way? And maybe they did. But if they didn't, then you need to say to yourself, I got doubts about that. But it's not believing me. I'm not under oath. I'm not taking the witness stand. It doesn't matter if you believe me or not. The question is whether you believe the evidence that they bring in. Are you okay with that? Because I promise it's not, I'm never going to stake a case on my credibility.
You have 3 minutes.
Does that make sense? You okay with that? All right, good. Mr. Childers, should I want you on my jury?
Here or there, they got to prove beyond reasonable doubt to me.
You're comfortable holding under that?
Yep.
Responsibility? Yep. Good. Thanks, sir. Ms. Walsh, should I want you on my jury?
Hey, I can be a benefit. I have an education background and I understand the burden of proof and beyond reasonable doubt pretty well. And I know I'm fair and impartial. All situation, in all, well, I think I am in all situations that are brought to me for my opinion or determination.
Good. Thank you, ma'am. All right. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. I appreciate the opportunity to try this case. Thank you.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen of the jury panel, we're gonna ask that you would step outside. You can use either one of the doors. Probably gonna call some of you back in for some follow-up questions. So at this time, everyone, please stand as the panel exit the jury room. You can go out either side, either side. Oh, Bella, come back up there. She didn't put it, I thought she had, she said she did. Sarah,
Getting real frustrated if
Fair.
that's the reason we couldn't get
Fair.
things to work.
she said it wasn't put back to, right?
It's missing the part, huh?
On my screen, I don't.
It's coming out the computer. Look at the USB.
Oh, it's
Okay, here we go.
Oh. I like bring it back.
Okay. Jefferson County Court, Law number 2 is back in session. Court is in session in clause number 2360 CR 2673. Case is styled the state of Texas versus Larry Jean Dupuy. Let the record reflect that Mr. Dupuy is present in court with his attorney Ryan Gertz. State is present with Assistant Criminal District Attorneys, Attorney Farrah Nixon, and Attorney Fred Vernon. Let the record reflect that the panel is not back and present in the courtroom. Ladies and gentlemen, we have our court administrator, Ms. Brella Balkate. She will be calling some names. If your name is called, please go to the jury box. There are some tags right there on the countertop. You can take a tag, have a seat, and pin it on you while you're in the jury box. At this time, Miss Balkate, you may proceed.
Patricia Janison, Eddie Allen, Landon Henry, Lancer Sylvester, Dorothy Owens, Elvira Jones, Kathy Wolford.
Okay. At this time, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, I must administer to you the second of the 2 oaths. So I need each and every one of you to raise your right hand, and once I finish administering the oath, please say, "I do." Do you and each of you do solemnly swear or affirm that in the case of the state of Texas versus Larry Jean Dupuy, you will a true verdict render according to the law and the evidence, so help you God.
Do,
Okay, you may put your hands down. Members of the jury, I will give you some instructions and a general idea of what to expect in this case. Every case is composed of facts and the law as it applies to the particular case. The facts come from the witnesses on the witness stand. The law comes from the statutes, codes, rules, and court decisions interpreting them and how they may apply to this case. You and I have equal authority in this case, but it is divided authority. You are the sole judges of the facts, and I'm the sole judge of the law. You are the sole judges of the credibility of the witnesses and the weight to be given their testimony. You may believe all of what a witness says, part of what a witness says, or none of what a witness says. As the trial progresses, the attorneys will probably make objections to questions asked by the other attorney or witnesses, or objections to the introduction of documents or objects. This means that in the objecting attorney's opinion, there is a legal reason why the testimony or document or object should not be received by you. Sometimes I will simply sustain or overrule the objection. At other times, it may require a lengthy discussion outside of your presence. If that happens, I will either ask you to step outside for a few minutes or ask the attorneys to come up to the bench so that you can't hear the discussion on the point of law. The reason for this, as I told you earlier, you're the sole judges of the facts you receive, and I'm the sole judge of the law. I can't be with you in the jury room when you deliberate the facts. Therefore, you can't be present or within hearing when I deliberate questions of the law. The reason why I will sometimes ask you to step outside is because it's just simply the most efficient way to do it. Otherwise, if we were to leave the courtroom, the court reporter would have to gather his equipment and take it with him, and the attorneys would have to gather their files, etc. The rulings I do make on questions of law in your presence are not evidence, and you are to disregard them. After all the evidence is in, and both the state and the defendant have rested their cases, the court will prepare and submit to you a written charge instructing you on the law in this case. We will then hear oral arguments from the attorneys. The attorneys have the right to make a summation of the evidence and to make a reasonable deduction from the evidence. Since the state has the burden of proof, it has the right to open and close the summation or argument. Until you retire to deliberate, do not discuss this case amongst yourselves, and under no circumstances should you permit anyone to discuss the case with you. Do not attempt to learn from any source outside of the courtroom anything about the facts of the case, nor attempt any independent investigation on your own. Don't visit the scene involved in the facts of the case. Don't read any reports in the newspaper or on social media or watch TV reports about the case. Do not make up your mind about this case until all the evidence is in and you have been instructed on the law. Don't take notes during the progress of the trial. Don't visit other courts during a break if a trial or other proceeding is in progress. The tags that you have, you'll be allowed to take those tags home. Make sure that you wear the tags when you come to court, because those tags identify you as a juror in this case. Ladies and gentlemen of the panel, those of you who were not selected to serve as a juror in this case, first of all, on behalf of the citizens of Jefferson County, on behalf of the staff here in County Court at Law number 2, I'd like to thank you for taking time out from your busy schedules to be here this afternoon. I know that some of you may be disappointed because you did not get selected to serve as a juror in this case. And you may think that you have wasted your time, but I can assure you that you did not waste your time. And the reason why I say you did not waste your time, because I mentioned to you all earlier that we have large dockets, and we have our dockets in the morning. In fact, this morning we had 3 dockets. We had a trial docket, and an announcement docket, and a pretrial conference docket. And we had probably in the neighborhood of 60 cases combined on those dockets. The reason why I brought that up is because when cases are filed and individuals have lawyers, or if they're representing themselves, they usually have an opportunity to talk to the prosecutor. The prosecutor will make what is called an offer to settle the case. It's normally referred to as a plea bargain agreement. And the defendant has a right to accept or reject that offer. And if they reject the offer, they have a constitutional right to have a trial by jury. Sometimes individuals decide that they're going to reject the offer because some individuals believe one or two things are going to happen. Sometimes they believe witnesses are not going to show up, or sometimes they believe a juror is not going to show up. But on days like today, when witnesses show up, when jurors show up, it is not uncommon for individuals to have a change of heart. That is, they know some may say, you know what, that offer looks pretty good right now. And so a lot of times, because we have jurors that participate in our judicial system, it helps us to move cases. And so, again, you did not waste your time. And I'd like to thank you for being here this afternoon. Now, I know that when you came here this afternoon, some of you probably had to look for the courtroom, and you looked over the top of this courtroom and you saw County Court Law Number 2, Judge Terrence Holmes, and you probably said to yourself, you know what? I'm in the right place. I'm in Judge Holmes' court. Well, you're not in Judge Holmes' court. This court is for the citizens of Jefferson County. You are the citizens of Jefferson County. So this is your court. I've said that to say this. Anytime that you're in the neighborhood of County Court Law Number 2 of Jefferson County, Texas, you can come have a seat in your courtroom. In fact, you can sit in that area that you're sitting in. We call that the peanut gallery. But it doesn't mean you can bring peanuts in here and eat, because this is not the Texas Roadhouse. But you can come and have a seat in your courtroom, and I'm sure you'll find it very interesting. Now, your jury service is concluded. Our bailiff, she has some letters that she's going to give to each and every one of you. But before you leave, I usually give a handshake, but we still have COVID in our communities. However, I would like to give each and every one of you what I call an air handshake. So on behalf of County Court at Law Number 2, I'd like to thank you for coming down to serve as a juror in this case. Your services are concluded. The district clerk's office just closed at 4:30. So if you need an excuse, we can provide you with an excuse. Just let us know you can remain, and we'll have our court coordinator to give you the paperwork that you need. So at this time, you're free to go, and each and every one of you have a blessed day. If you would like to watch this trial will start again on tomorrow at 1:30. You can show up in person and sit in that area, or you can watch us on YouTube, whichever is convenient for you. Y'all have a blessed day.
Yeah, I'll be get beat again. But
Okay, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, as you heard, it's my understanding that the state is going to start their testimony and present their case on tomorrow. And I just would like to tell you that what you can expect on tomorrow when you come. The state is going to read the information. The information is what we call a charging instrument. In the district court, felony courts, they call it an indictment. In misdemeanor court, it's called an information. Difference between the two, an indictment has to go first before a grand jury. Information does not, okay? And so the state will read off the information. The defendant will enter his plea not guilty. After that, the state will do an opening statement. The defense, if they desire to do an open statement, or they can reserve it, they can follow. And then the state will call their first witness, and then it'll proceed on from there. So that's what you can expect on tomorrow. We ask that each and every one of you be back tomorrow promptly. We're gonna hopefully start at 1:30, and make sure that you're outside the courtroom and wait for the bailiff to come get you. All right? So at this time, you are excused for the evening. Each and every one of you have a blessed day. Yes, sir.
Do you allow, drink bottles of any?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
During trial, we did, yeah. Yeah, okay. So y'all can stand. Everyone please stand as the jury exits the courtroom. You just follow the bailiff. Yes. Court will be in recess on this case until 1:30 tomorrow.
Thank you.